Have you ever felt like life has thrown more at you than anyone could handle? Do you know what it feels like to try again and again, only to fall each time? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to rise effortlessly while you struggle endlessly? If you've ever been tested by life, if you felt broken or exhausted by constant challenges, this story is for you. Once upon a time, in a small town surrounded by mountains, there lived a young man named Arif. Arif was in his late 20s, worked a simple job at a local shop, and spent his days quietly observing the world around him. He dreamed of creating something meaningful, something that would leave a mark, but each day he faced obstacles that felt impossible to overcome. While others in his town celebrated successes, Arif stumbled. His hands were always tired, his heart heavy with doubt. The villagers often whispered, "He tries, but he never succeeds." And though their words hurt, he continued. Every morning Arif woke before the sun, preparing for the day, yet by nightfall he felt drained, defeated, and invisible. He questioned himself silently, "Why am I like this? Why do my struggles feel heavier than others?" And yet, deep inside, something whispered, something persistent, telling him that the struggles were not the end. They were the beginning of something much greater. Little did he know the rare strength he possessed would soon awaken, and it would change everything. Arif's journey was about to begin. But first, he had to face a lesson that would feel almost impossible to accept. Arif's days began to blur together. Early mornings, long hours at the shop, and nights spent staring at the ceiling, wondering if he was enough. Every attempt to move forward seemed met with failure. Bills piled up. Dreams felt distant. His heart ached with the weight of disappointment. One afternoon, as he sat alone near the river that ran behind his town, a wise elder named Malik approached him. Malik had a quiet presence, eyes that seemed to see everything, and a voice that carried calm and authority. "Arif," the elder said softly, "I see your struggle, but strength isn't just what you survive, it's what you carry after surviving." Arif frowned, not fully understanding. "I'm tired, Malika tell." "And?" "Am tired, Malika. Every day feels heavier than the last. How can I carry more?" Malik smiled, reaching into his satchel, pulling out two small, seemingly ordinary seeds. "These are magic seeds," he said, "but their magic isn't in the seed itself. It's in the care you give. One seed grows if you rush. The other grows if you nurture it patiently. Life works the same way." Arif tilted his head, skepticism shadowing his eyes. "You mean I'm supposed to wait?" "Not wait," Malik replied. "Choose patience over hurry. Choose learning over rushing. You already possess the strength, you just haven't recognized it." As Arif held the seeds, feeling their rough texture, he sensed a strange warmth, almost as if they whispered to him. Tears welled in his eyes, not from despair, but from the realization that perhaps his struggles weren't meaningless. Perhaps, just perhaps, they were preparing him for something extraordinary. But the challenge was not over. The path ahead demanded more than hope. It demanded courage, consistency, and the willingness to embrace discomfort. And Arif would soon find that letting go of what he thought he needed was the first step toward discovering the rare strength within the next morning. Arif woke with a heavy heart, but a flicker of determination. He planted the two seeds Malik had given him, one in sunlight, the other in shade, and promised himself he would care for them daily, no matter how small the effort seemed. Days passed. Each sunrise brought routine, watering, tending, observing. Sometimes the seeds barely grew. Sometimes the wind knocked over his small pots. Arif's frustration bubbled, yet he remembered Malik's words. "Strength is in the care you give, not the immediate result." One evening, exhausted from a long day at work, Arif noticed the tiniest green sprout pushing through the soil. His heart leapt. Could this fragile plant really survive the storms ahead? Could he? He realized something important. The same patience and consistency he showed to the seeds could be applied to his own life. Every setback, every failure, every moment of despair was a lesson, a hidden exercise in endurance and resilience. But Arif's journey wasn't just internal. His family noticed the change. He no longer rushed, no longer reacted with anger or fear. He moved with quiet strength even when situations tested him. Neighbors whispered, wondering how a young man so burdened could carry himself with such calm. Yet, the greatest challenge came when a violent storm struck the town one night. Rain battered the windows and the river swelled dangerously. Arif ran to check his seeds, fearing they would wash away. As he held the fragile sprouts in his hands, he felt a surge of clarity. This is what it means to endure, to protect, to persevere, even when everything around you seems impossible. At that moment, Arif understood a truth he had never grasped before. Strength isn't built in comfort. It grows in struggle, in patience, in those quiet, unseen moments where most people give up. Weeks turned into months. Arif continued his care, waking early, tending the soil, observing the subtle changes. The sprouts grew into sturdy plants, their roots deep, leaves vibrant. Each day, the sight reminded him, growth takes time, but it is unstoppable when nurtured with patience. At work, Arif faced the same challenges that had once overwhelmed him. Difficult clients, endless tasks, moments of discouragement, but now he approached them differently. He paused before reacting, reflected before speaking, and persisted even when success seemed distant. His colleagues noticed a new calm in him, a quiet confidence that inspired them without a single boast. One evening, Malik returned. He looked at the plants and smiled knowingly. "You see what you have built?" he asked. Strength isn't a sudden force. It's the accumulation of small, consistent actions. Every struggle you endured was like sunlight and rain too. These seeds, Arif nodded, finally understanding. Tears filled his eyes, not of sorrow, but of gratitude. He had walked through fire, felt despair, and yet, here he was, stronger than he had ever imagined. But the story didn't end with personal victory. Arif began sharing his journey with friends, family, and even strangers. He told them about the seeds, the patience, the storms. He taught them the lesson he had learned. The rarest kind of strength is born in struggle, in persistence, in the choice to never give up, even when everything seems lost. One night, looking at the full-grown plants swaying gently under the moonlight, Arif realized the transformation was complete. The boy who once felt powerless had become a man who understood that hardship is not punishment. It is preparation. Every tear, every failure, every lonely night had forged a strength that was now unshakable. Years later, Arif stood at the edge of the village, watching children play and neighbors greet one another. He saw hope in their laughter, potential in their curiosity, and he knew he had a role to play beyond his own life. He remembered the nights of doubt, the weight of endless struggles, and the lessons Malik had taught him. Now, he passed them on, not as commands, but as stories. Stories of resilience, patience, and the hidden strength everyone possesses when they refuse to give up. Arif had transformed. His home was filled with life, his work mattered, and his spirit was steady. He had discovered the truth. Strength isn't measured by the absence of hardship, but by how you rise after every fall. One evening, a traveler approached him, weary and defeated, asking, "How do you keep going when life feels impossible?" Arif smiled warmly, gesturing to the thriving garden behind him. Every struggle you've endured has planted seeds of strength, he said. Water them with patience, nurture them with hope, and your life will bloom beyond what you ever imagined. The traveler's eyes widened, hope stirring where there had been only despair. Arif realized then that the rarest kind of strength isn't just personal, it spreads, touching everyone around you when shared with kindness and wisdom. And so, the boy who once felt powerless became a beacon of courage, teaching all who would listen that every hardship carries a hidden gift. He had learned, and now others would too. You are stronger than you think, and your struggles are shaping a strength that is rare and everlasting.